This episode of the LCTV News is brought to you by Encompass Health, Rehabilitation Hospital of New England, and North Shore Community College. If you have the will to attend college, we have the way for you to earn your degree.
Good morning. LCTV News is back after a short hiatus, and we are excited to bring you even more stories. Another double lowdown is in store as both the Community Warmth Project and members from My Brother's Table and the Clay School came on to publicize their upcoming events and goals. Here's the news for Friday, August 11th, 2023. Last week, the 2024 fiscal year budget for Massachusetts was passed, which includes money to support programs and communities across the state. The largest single recipient is the Lynn Housing Authority, who will be receiving $300,000 in funding. Additionally, Lynn Main Streets, Catholic Charities Food Pantry, and YMCA youth programs will see 5-digit support. One major point is the level of funding mental health and substance use disorder programs were allocated across the board. This includes $260,000 to a variety of organizations in Lynn who focus on these specific topics. With all funding, the goal is to prioritize projects and issues which are of the greatest importance to the constituents being represented. The Red Rock Concert Series is continuing, with only a few performances left for the summer. Last week, Shuffle Mode performed covers of songs for an audience who utilized the open space to dance along. Take a listen.
Hey, where did we go? Days when the rains came.
We've been playing at this concert series for quite a few years. I actually grew up in Lynn, so I love playing this one every year. The Friends of Lynn and Nahant Beach are kind enough to have us every year. DCR sponsors it as well. We just played some classic rock and some 80s.
Describe some of the reasons why you guys got into music.
My parents bought a piano when I was 10, so I sat down and started playing, and they said, oh, he knows how to do it already? Let's send him to a teacher.
I'm from Peabody and youngest of 8 kids, a lot of musicians in the family, and so I had free drums and guitars to play.
So when I was a kid, my mother driving around in the car with her, listening to Motown and listening to 70s AM radio, and I just loved music. And then I got into Led Zeppelin, and that was the end of it. I needed a bass.
My dad was a drummer, and then I started playing drums, and it was, my dad playing Motown records on the big console, and he'd play them over and over, and just as he stopped, I started playing, and it was just a passion. It's just part of my life now.
Shuffle Mode's been around, between 16 and 20 years.
Yeah. I learned never take for granted the opportunity to play live music for people. True. And especially in something like this, because you get older people, younger people, and it's always a great atmosphere when people come out and they're just sitting down, relaxing. Seriously, a great atmosphere.
We enjoy playing together and just laughing and having people come hear you play, and this is what we do.
Thank you very much.
Lynn Women's Health, providing outpatient OB/GYN care in affiliation with Beverly Hospital, has received a $24,000 grant through the Women's Fund of Essex County. This fund was established in 2003 to raise money and provide opportunities for underserved women and girls in Essex County through its annual grant awards. Women's Health will be using this 3-year grant to provide transportation funds for expecting mothers in need. Additionally, new car seats and welcome packages, including multilingual prenatal information for new patients, will be provided. In another edition of Final Fridays, the Lynn Museum held a Graffiti Getdown at Frederick Douglass Park. Artists were given boards as their canvas to create murals live for the audience. Here is more.
At the end of every month, every final Friday, we have an arts and culture event based here in Lynn. We use the events to activate local spaces here in the community so we can bring out more people to, meet the local artists, meet local creatives, and so everyone can, really get together. We are collaborating with Lynn Music Foundation, and this month's theme is art and hip hop in the park. We have Lynn Music Foundation providing us a great selection of hip hop acts. And we also have local artists painting on 8x4 wood panels. We have Okaje, Hood Tendencies, Innate, and YM Prop.
When I say rec shop, y'all say movement. Rec shop. Rec shop. Rec shop. Make some noise for the one and only Big Brother Side.
You can find out more about Final Fridays by going to the Visit Lynn page. So that's visitlynnma.gov. And you can also look us up on Instagram at Lynn Museum on Instagram. You can also go to our website, lynnmuseum.org. I wanted to have Graffiti Getdown because as an artist myself, I like to try to help to make opportunities for other artists because I feel for me, it was events and opportunities like this that really helped me get my name out there. So I want to try to give back to the community that I feel brought me up as much as I can.
Ballot positions for the upcoming primary elections were drawn in City Hall last Friday the 4th. All at-large and school committee candidates will make it through to the final election, but only 2 candidates for each ward can advance. Here is more.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Janet Rose, City Clerk and Chief of Elections. And this is Deb Santos, who's going to be drawing the numbers. She's our election clerk. And I have Laura Lee Shinnick, who is our head clerk. She will be recording what position you're going to be on the ballot. So today we're going to be drawing ballot positions for the September 5th preliminary. And what we do is we use this famous antique here, and we put the number of balls in there, how many candidates we have. For instance, in Ward 1 we have 6 candidates, so we'll put in 6 balls, and then we'll spin each time and draw a number. And we will do that for every one here. We have Councillor Ward 1, Ward 2, and Ward 4, and then we have Councillor at Large. We have 8 positions, and the school committee we have 12. Next will be Brian LaPierre. Number 2. Right. Number 2, Brian. This is just to pick the ballot position. Everybody's either hoping for number 1, or some people like to vote for the last one, so that they can get their word out. I'm last on the, on the ballot. All of these people from the school committee, they will move forward from September to the November election. Same thing with the councillor at larges. They'll all move forward. You can have double the number of candidates on the ballot. So if there's 4 candidates for councillor at large, you can have 8 on the ballot. But unfortunately, in Ward 1 and Ward 4, only 2 people can move forward. Ward 2 already has 2, they will move forward. So the September election is really important because, like I said, only 2 people can move forward for 1 and for Ward 4. So those are going to be the big races to watch in September.
Calling high school juniors and seniors, Girls Inc. is actively recruiting for their new college prep program. Boot camp begins next week for juniors from the 14th to the 25th. Prep classes begin in October and run every Thursday from 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. until next May to learn about options for college. For seniors, meetings are held Mondays from 4 to 5:30 and Tuesdays 5:30 to 7 p.m. Participants are matched with a mentor for the year and receive individualized help on school and scholarship applications. Originally postponed due to weather, Gowdy Park was finally able to hold their 4th of July celebration last weekend. Families came out to participate in raffles, see animals, and get their faces painted. Here's a clip from the event.
Hello, my name's Todd Bacon, and I'm the director of the Gowdy Park 4th of July celebration, along with my wife. That's what we're doing here today. We have the horse rides. We have Curious Creatures over here to the left, face painting from Diane. Good people. They were kind enough to reschedule after the 4th of July rain out, so we were lucky to get them back. We have 50-50 raffles. Lynn Fire Department showed up. They're gracious enough to bring their engine down here. We did a walk around the block. Kids decorated their tricycles and wagons and whatnot. Just great to see everybody out here. Right after COVID, I was approached by Estelle Dill, who ran this for years, and said she was bowing out and she was wondering if I would be interested in taking over. I said, sure. So it was quite a learning experience, but my wife and I really work well together and we have fun doing it. I'm just so proud to see this community come together. Ward 1 especially. This is open to everybody in Lynn. I make that perfectly clear. But it's just great to see the parents out here with their children and people just having a good time. And I'm just really excited and really proud of all the work we're doing. And it's going to continue to do it for years to come.
Oscar Juarez, a former junior varsity coach for Classical Girls Soccer, was arrested on felony charges of sex-related crimes from 2022. This includes, but is not limited to, the distribution of pornographic images, attempting to solicit a student, and indecent battery and assault on a person over the age of 14. Lynn Public Schools were notified and are conducting a personnel investigation, with Juarez also being notified that he cannot have any contact with students in the LPS community. He was arraigned in court on the 7th, where he entered a plea of not guilty and is being held on $10,000 cash bail. He is set to appear in court again on September 7th for a pre-trial conference. LifeScene hosted their 16th annual Family Fun Day, also on the 5th. Both them and other organizations set up booths on the Common for families to come and learn about the services they offer. Kids also got the chance to run around and win prizes. Take a look.
This is the 16th annual Family Fun Day. It's just an opportunity for us to get involved in the community a little bit more, for the community to know who we are as LifeScene, and we also have other nonprofit organizations here and for-profit organizations that are just kind of getting their name out in support of our organization and just the greater Lynn community.
When I first started here, part of my job was connecting with some of these organizations around Lynn, and that's honestly still to this day one of my favorite parts, is meeting with different groups in Lynn who do the same work that we do, and collaborating with them, seeing how we can get our name out there, how we can get more people involved, and to summarize it in an event like this, where it's a beautiful summer day out, we have kids, we have games, food.
We would like to welcome you to the 16th annual Family Fun Day hosted by LifeScene. Nos gustaría darte la bienvenida a la celebración 16 del Día de Diversión para la familia de su anfitrión, LifeScene.
We are the MCs. We just present the raffles, presenters, and we just talk to the crowd.
LifeScene has created an opportunity for all teenagers to be able to get out of their comfort zone and be someone much more like outgoing.
It really gives us an opportunity to make some money while also like growing our brains during the summer break and, you know, be more active. So yeah, LifeScene has a lot of good benefits for us.
Most events usually we focus about our programs, what we do, how we support the community. This is an event for the community itself, for other organizations, for people just living in Lynn, for kids just to come out and have fun, and how we support the city of Lynn together in totality.
Last Tuesday, the 8th, City Council voted 7-3 to table a vote which would have advanced the Broadway traffic improvement project to the next stages. This would include giving the city the authority to use the property of businesses and homeowners through temporary and permanent easements for the project. This comes after Lynn was given approval by the state to spend more time talking to community members and going over questions and concerns. This project would replace outdated traffic signals that are no longer up to code, as well as bicycle amenities and handicap ramps at an intersection which sees at least 30 accidents per year. The Broadway project has been a point of contention for months, as residents continue to raise concerns about how construction will affect their property in both the short and long term. In another special edition, we have a PSA made by another of our 2023-24 co-op students, PAW, which focuses on road safety for both pedestrians and drivers. Take a look.
With the steady development of the city, our community is met with more welcome citizens and scenic spots that highlight the extravagance of our home. Despite the amount of positivity this brings to our community, it makes being careful more important than ever, especially when traveling through the streets. Note these advices down and keep them in mind to ensure safe life here in Lynn. For pedestrians, look both ways before you cross the street, never run, and use crosswalks. If you're with a child, hold their hand and keep close supervision so they don't risk themselves in danger. Drivers must be mindful of speed limits through neighborhood and school zone. Watch out for signs to follow, pedestrians to stop for, and do not run red lights. Neither party should be on their phones when driving or walking, but should remain aware of their surroundings. Not knowing street safety can lead to fatal accidents, and practicing these procedures is a way to avoid them.
The City of Lynn primary election is on Tuesday, September 5th, with polls open from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. All candidates for Councilor at Large and School Committee will advance to the final election. In Wards 3, 5, 6, and 7, all candidates are running unopposed, with contested races in 1, 2, and 4. Only 2 candidates can advance for each ward to the final election in November. Those wishing to participate in the September 5th election must be registered to vote by August 25th. You can register online on the voter registration page on the city's website, by going to the election office in room 203 of City Hall, or at the Diversity Matters Festival on August 12th. If you cannot vote in person, you can register to vote by mail, and ballots must be received on or by Election Day. First on the lowdown was the newly renamed Community Warmth Project, whose goal is to knit or crochet winter items and leave them around the city for people in need. Here is the lowdown. Good afternoon and welcome back to the Lynn Lowdown. I'm Danny Vittori, and today we have on the founder and president of the Community Warmth Project joining us on the show.
Hello, Danny. Thank you very much for having me here. My name is Keisha, and I am in charge of this great, crazy, eclectic group of human beings who are working very hard through one act of kindness at a time to make the world a better place and building a community as they do so. I am very, very, very lucky to have this group of people behind me doing all of these things to help make the world a better place.
And you've expanded exponentially the last few years. It began, like you said, it was Chase the Chill before, and now it's this Community Warmth Project, and you are just becoming a nonprofit.
Yes. We started back in 2015. We were inspired by Susan Huxley of Easton, Pennsylvania, who began the Chase the Chill, the original movement. And then it spread out to different places. We originally started as just a group of people who were going to meet once a year in the street outside my brother's table and do this, we call it a scarf bomb. We also do gloves and hats and things like that. But we were going to do it one time a year. We were going to walk in, walk out, and be done, and get ready for the next year. It did not work like that. Every time we do a scarf bomb, we discover some kind of thing that makes us say, we could do more, we could do better, we can do something about this with what we do. And so as the years go by, we grow. This year, we're super excited because not only are we turning into a nonprofit, which will be named the Community Warmth Project, we're also the very lucky recipients of one of the Creative Cities grants. And with that grant, we are going to host the biggest scarf bomb that we've done in Lynn since then. We'll have between 1,440 scarves and 2,000 scarves to hang. Oh. We're going to meet in the middle of downtown Lynn, under the bridge, and we are going to split into groups. We're going to walk out all of the streets. hanging scarves as we go. And they will have a little sign that says in multiple language, "Take me." And they'll have a spot on the front of the card for the person who made the scarf to do some kind of a good wish. So you might say, "Where are you getting these scarves from? That's a lot of scarves." And
yeah.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, that's a lot.
That is a lot of scarves. And with the money from the grant, we were able to buy fleece, and we can do what I'm calling a make and take workshop. We're going to invite the community in to take, and we're going to give them a yard of fabric. We're going to teach them how to make a no-sew scarf. When they leave, they can take one of the scarves that they made with them. Each yard makes 3 or 4 scarves. They can take one, and the rest they will leave with cards on them with their well wishes for the people. We will use those scarves to Scarf Bomb Central Square.
So you make all of them?
We make the majority of what we do. We have some people who have been with us helping since the beginning who aren't crafters, but who are like excellent shoppers, or like some things are just some things are a pain to make. I don't know if you've ever knit, but try knitting gloves with all those little fingers, and it will quickly break your will. 10 individual little tubes, no thank you. So we buy things like gloves and mittens and things like that, but we do have people who make lots of different things and buy lots of different things.
Mm-hmm. And you were even saying before we got on, it's a huge collaborative effort. Like you can't do what you do without all these volunteers and people.
That I can't say that enough. Like if I tell my people that if their ears are ringing, it's because I'm out there talking about them somewhere. I'm lucky that I get to do what I do. But I only get to do it because of the hundreds of people who stand behind me and make it possible. They are really the lifeblood of everything, and they make it possible, and I'm very blessed to be able to be their spokesperson.
And an additional thing you do is, which is unique, is you can help teach people how to knit. 'Cause like I personally, I have no idea how to do it. I have no idea what I'm doing. Mm-hmm. So that's a unique thing too.
Yeah, we meet almost every Saturday. We have a room at the Grace United Methodist Church on Broadway, which they let us have very nicely. So we meet there, and we have a knit, crochet, craft circle. I don't care which one you do. You can come hang out, bring your project. And if you want to learn how to knit, people can come down. We will teach you the basics, and then you can sit and be in like the supportive crowd of women who have been exactly where you are, who will let you like do what you need to do to learn, but will be there to help you if you want to, if you have a problem and you need it fixed. Because I like to say that with knitting, there are 2 things you do when you're knitting. You learn to knit, and then you knit. And there are a lot of people who learn to knit, but never actually knit. So we try to do both of them, so that way we're giving them the support that they need to start their new healthy hobby.
And for anyone who's looking to get involved, in addition to the knitting, what are other ways things or people could do?
Well, that is a great question, and there are, I'm about to go plural, so I'm going to go with are. There are many things that people can do, from making signs to helping us translate signs to other languages, to helping us put our Facebook posts into other languages. You can come down, learn to knit. You can come take one of our make and take workshops at Grace. You can just tell your friends, hey, they're doing this, and then be a collection point for items if you'd like. Or you can just come hang out and figure out if there's something else you want to do. There's always something, even tagging things, folding things, sorting things, carrying things. If you want a job, we've got one.
If you want to get involved, you can. Right?
Exactly.
And you also mentioned in your thing, too, that you work with Leo Head Start as well, another organization.
Yes. The first year that we were out doing our Scarf Bomb, one of the things that we noticed was that there were too many kids that were out without gloves, hats, scarves. On days when I personally would have wrapped myself up in a blanket, like before I went out if I could have. And we just wondered, like, how can we get to people, especially young and vulnerable kids, before they're out? Because these aren't kids whose parents are doing a terrible job. Like, these are people who had to make a choice and leave the house that day. They didn't have the option to stay home like some people do. And the way we came to do that was through Leo, because we saw that they had posted something. So we reached out, and it's been an excellent relationship. Leo does amazing things for the community and for the kids, and we're happy to be able to give them some of the items that they need to make that happen.
And I'll ask you too, probably should have asked this earlier, but how did you originally get involved in the organization?
I was sitting on my couch minding my own business, and my friend Michelle Coleman had seen a posting on Facebook for Chase the Chill Winnipeg, and she sent me a message and she said, "Hey Keisha, you should do this." And I was like, I'll think about it. At first I was like, no, but then I had the vision of my brother's table and how the street around my brother's table was the shelter and that. So I reached out to a couple of my friends who are, well, just like me. And I said, "You want to?" And I put the link, and they said yes. So we started, and off we went. And now this is what happened.
Look at you all these years later becoming even bigger organization. And one thing I thought you say it's cool with the scarf bombs, because you actually like kind of decorate with them too. You don't just sort of go out and leave them in piles. You do like decorate.
Oh yeah, we every scarf is tagged with an item that says "Take me, I'm yours." This year we're going multi-language, so it'll say "Take me" in the languages of Lynn, as many as we can fit on the back of the card. And then we look for places like fences and poles and trees and just anything that will not cause an obstruction in any way, shape, or form, or cause unsafe things. But we look, and by the time we're done, it's this colorful wash and wave of things. It's pretty incredible, and it's fun. So come on down if you have the day free. And we're going to be starting at 9 o'clock on December 2nd with our first one of the year.
You say you go out there and you see how great the need is. You may think, oh, this is a lot to put out, but they're always taken.
They are. Somebody asked me before what we do with the leftovers, right? And when we do have leftovers, it's like a hat and a scarf, like a sock that got separated from the other sock. But if we do have something left over, we always go back at the end of the day and we check and see what's left outside. We bring it in if we have to. It's very rarely that we have to bring anything in. But we just make and collect all year long so that we can go in cycles. And my only goal every year is to end a winter season, because we count in winter seasons. So we're talking about winter 2023, 2024. But for the previous season, we start with nothing, so shelves were empty. We want to get everything that we can out while it still makes sense. And then we just go with the wave.
I know you recently hosted another knitting session too. Like I said, you takes you the whole year to create or get all the things that you give out.
Yes. It is a very long labor of love. Up until recently, I did it from my house. And I realized last year that this was going to be the last time I could do it at my house, because I'd start at the end of March with nothing in that room. And by the time it came to do a scarf bomb, it would just be like I'd have to go in and take out a layer so I could get to a layer behind it. It was pretty incredible. If I took a picture of the room, you'd be like, oh, you should be on Hoarders. But, maybe I should still be. I don't know. But we have a bigger space now, more space. And I don't have to worry so much about my guest bedroom being the only guests in my guest bedroom are scarves, gloves, socks, and essentials for other people. But now we're at the Grace United Methodist Church. We meet almost every week there on Saturdays between 9 and 1. And we create, we craft, we collaborate, we figure stuff out, and we try to figure out how to bring connection, warmth, and goodness to the world.
You are definitely doing that with your mission so far. And before I wrap it up, was there anything that I hadn't asked you about, or anything else you wanted to add with the organization?
I think we've talked about a lot of things, and I just want to one more time say that it is only possible because of the people who make it possible. They are the people that you're seeing in the photos from this. They have put so much dedication and passion into what they do, and I'm very lucky to be able to go out and be the face or the mind or the mouth behind that. So thank you to my Windshield Warriors for your graciousness and your generosity.
We'll say thank you to you for coming on, and for everyone in the organization for all the fantastic work that they do.
Thank you very much, Danny, and thanks for having us today. And I say us because I am, again, surrounded by lots of people who make this possible.
Yes, of course, and thank you for coming on. And once again, I'm Danny Vittori. This has been the Lynn Lowdown, and we'll see you next week with more guests. On deck, the sports update. Leon Elwell is taking over classical baseball from 16-year veteran Mike Zukowski. Elwell coached junior varsity for Marblehead in the 90s and early 2000s before taking over as the manager for the Greater Lynn Baseball League, following time off to focus on family. He is excited to have this opportunity and learn from Coach Zukowski, as well as put his own mark on the program. This includes putting academics first for all the student athletes, as well as learning the discipline, respect, and dedication needed to do well in sports and in life. The Ocean Waves swept Martha's Vineyard to begin August, bringing an end to the Navigators' playoff run and their 2023 season. They finished at 18-24 for last place in the Coastal Division and third last overall in the NECBL. 6 Navs did make the All-Star game, led by Henry Kazar, who was also the leader in batting average for North Shore at .313. In a statement released by the Navigators, quote, "Thank you to everyone who made our 2023 season possible, from the players and coaches, host families and sponsors, and most importantly, Navs Nation. We look forward to seeing you all again in 2024, end quote. At 59-55 and less than 50 games left in the season, the Red Sox have a slim 25% chance of making the playoffs. There has also been added pressure on Chief Baseball Officer Hiram Bloom as the trade deadline has come and gone, with Boston still in need of pitching. They stopped a 4-game skid, including a 3-game sweep by the Blue Jays, with a dramatic 6-2 win against the Kansas City Royals. Don't let the score fool you. The Sox lost a 2-0 lead in the 8th, and it was Pablo Reyes who stepped up to the plate in the bottom of the 9th with 2 outs, crushing a grand slam off the left field pole for the walk-off win. This was followed by a 9-3 loss, then a 4-3 win, which had its share of unusual plays, including a ball breaking and falling into one of the strike lights in the Green Monster off the bat of a Royals player. Next on the Lowdown, we had representatives from My Brother's Table and the Clay School to give details on their Empty Bowls Fundraiser happening next Friday the 18th. Here is the next Lowdown. Good afternoon and welcome back to the Lynn Lowdown. I'm Danny Vittori, and today we have on representatives from both My Brother's Table and the Clay School. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having us.
So real quick, I have the guests introduce themselves because me and names do not always work. So you mind going?
Hi, I'm Diane Crucia Hills, and I'm the executive director of My Brother's Table.
Awesome. And I'm Kim Allison, and I am an instructor at the Clay School.
So we are here to talk about the amazing collaboration between your 2 organizations and several others as well for your Empty Bowls fundraiser coming up next week. So do we want to give a little bit of like what is that?
Sure. It's actually the first time we've had an Empty Bowls event. Many hunger organizations use them as a way to raise money, and ours is going to be at the Lynn Museum, and admission to our event includes admission to the museum. And people will come, they'll have a simple meal, soup, salads, bread rolls, that kind of thing, and dessert. We'll have a cash bar from Bentwater Brewing Company, and there'll be live music and long games, and everybody who comes to the event will get a handmade ceramic bowl, like one of these. And the idea is that it's both a memento of the evening, but also an empty bowl is a reminder of the folks in the community who have empty bowls at home and maybe don't have enough to eat. So it's both a combination of a serious problem, which is hunger, but also an enjoyable evening to help us raise money to fund our organization.
And the ceramic bowls are where you and the clay
It's where
school
we come in, yes. We're really community-oriented studio, and our students love to make, and pretty much all clay students love to share what they make. So it was really just a great opportunity that one of our students brought us to get involved with such a really amazing cause. So we had our students choose to make and donate whatever they wanted, and you can see kind of the range that you get. So many different things.
Oh, it is. It's definitely very impressive. All the things they're able to create, I would not be able to do that. That's okay. And I'll switch back for a second to my roast table, because I didn't realize you're privately funded. So fundraisers like this are how you're able to get the money to support what you do.
It's the only way we get money to run our organization. We were founded by a group of folks who really believe strongly that we should be a hospitality charity, which means anybody can come for any reason. We don't have any rules. We don't have any, like, you have to make this much of money or you have to have this many kids. If you need something to eat, you can come. Because we do that, we want to be able to do it in the manner we want to do it. So a lot of times with government grants, you have to serve only a specific population, or you have to ask people a lot of questions. And we try to approach it like if you came to someone's house for dinner, you wouldn't say, how much money do you make? Do you have a disability? How many kids do you have? So our idea is that you can just come and get, if you're hungry, come get something to eat. And so by having fundraisers, we can raise the money to do the work that we want to do in the way that we believe is the way we should be doing it.
And Empty Bowls is an idea that's happened in other communities. What drew you to collaborate with others, the Clay School and others, to do one here?
I think one of the nice things about Lynn that I've really grown to appreciate over the years is that even though Lynn's a big city, it's over 100,000 people, it's a very tight-knit community, and people really like to participate in community activities, and also just like people really care about their neighbors in Lynn, even though it is a city. Yeah. And I think this is a great example of that, is that, you know, there's a local school that does amazing work, but they're also part of a community. They're not just like an artist group, or we're just a, you know, service agency. There's a nice melding between the arts and service.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, and I'll ask you a similar thing, like the Clay School getting involved, like, how does it feel getting your students involved in something like this?
We love getting our students involved with these kind of causes. We've actually supported Empty Bowls events for, I think, 17 years now in different communities. Mostly in Gloucester was always the closest one to us. So when one of our students, I actually don't know how she found out about it, but when one of our students found out about it and brought it to us, everybody was really excited, because our community it's actually like all of the North Shore. So, I mean, we have people from Marblehead, Swampscott, Salem, Lynn, Melrose, all over the place coming together in our little community. And I think the opportunity to help a larger community that is part of Lynn, where we have our Clay School, was just really appealing to everybody. And I think a lot of the students, I mean, they picked some of their best work to send over too, which I think is fantastic.
Do you know offhand how many bowls are actually made, or it's okay if you don't?
By the Clay School, 77.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
That's how many I was told we donated. So.
And I think we have about 200 altogether from the schools and
that's awesome.
From the Clay School as well. Yeah.
And all the food is donated as well, correct?
Yep, all the food's donated, and a bunch of different local folks and some of the larger organizations like Kettle Cuisine on the Linway. They're donating some, I think, 3 or 4 different kinds of soup. And yeah, it really is a community coming together. And in a lot of ways it reflects how we do our business, because the meals we serve at the table, it's the same thing. It's donated food, it's people's donated time, it's neighbors sort of helping other neighbors. So it's very similar to how we do our day-to-day work.
And you say it's a very symbolic thing too, a literal empty bowl, so you hope to raise awareness about food insecurity.
Yeah, I think there was a local, the Boston Globe had an article probably about 3 or 4 weeks ago about a big study they did in Massachusetts. The Greater Boston Food Bank and Mass General Brigham did a study of food insecurity. And what they found is 1 in 3 people in Massachusetts don't have enough food to eat. And That's pretty shocking. I mean, that's pretty shocking.
That is
And
shocking.
That's the state
I didn't know
as a
that at
whole.
all.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's the worst, the numbers I've ever seen them. And it's interesting because Lynn is a poorer community than Massachusetts as a whole. So you can probably imagine in Lynn, it's probably more than 1 in 3. But even if it's 1 in 3, that's 33,000 people who probably don't have enough to eat in this community. So
you want to draw the awareness to it. And for people who might be interested in getting a ticket, signing up, where would they go to do that?
super easy. It's on our website, and you just click on it and you can buy a ticket right then. We looks like we probably will still have some tickets at the door the night of, so if people are kind of waiting to find out the last minute they can come, you're certainly welcome to come to the door and buy a ticket at the door as well.
Great. So it sounds like a fantastic fundraiser. I said I'd love to be able to come and do it. And you mentioned a little bit about the live music too, so do you know who'd be coming for that?
It's a band called the Distant Ships, and I think they play like different decades of music, so it should be something that everybody will hear something they like. And then there'll be some long games like cornhole and I don't know what other. We have a giant Jenga game and stuff.
Oh,
that people can play. So, yeah, and then you can go if you haven't seen the museum. It's a great excuse to go check out the museum. Yeah, it's an awesome museum. So.
And a great collaboration. And I'll flip back to you for a second. You mentioned your students. I didn't think of students as sometimes younger kids. Are they all, or is it open to anybody?
No, our school is very, very open to anybody. We do have some kids-only classes, but actually most of our studio is adults, and we have everybody from, you know, high schoolers all the way to retirees and everything in between. And we have classes for everything from beginners to more advanced people. We have artist in residence spaces for people who maybe don't need a class but want to come in and be part of the community. Our goal is pretty much to just welcome anybody who's interested in clay and in having a part in an arts community like ours.
Mm-hmm. I remember I've been to the Lady Pinkham building once, and it's amazing there. Yeah. My brother's table too. You run an incredible organization there with so many volunteers. And before we wrap this up, I want to ask: is there anything that I didn't mention, or anything else that you wanted to say about your organizations or the fundraiser?
I mean, I think the other thing I'll just add is that in June we served our 7 millionth meal, which is a lot of meals. And before the pandemic, so between 1982 and 2019, we had served 3.2 million meals. So the bulk of our meals we've actually served in the past 3.5 years, which is kind of bonkers. We saw a lot of changes during COVID, a lot of new faces, and those people have stuck with us, which is great. I mean, it's unfortunate the need is so great, but it's also nice that people who may have tried us during the pandemic have decided, oh, our food is really good. We have an amazing chef. She makes delicious food. So it's nice that people are still coming, but it is a lot. So that's why we do the fundraisers.
We're really happy to have this partnership, and we hope that we can continue it for future years if you guys are doing the fundraiser again or anything like that, because our students loved it, and I'm sure we get even more participation next time.
That's great.
Great. And I want to thank both of you again for coming on to talk about it, raise awareness of it.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Welcome anytime. And once again, I'm Danny Vittori. This has been the Lynn Lowdown, and we'll see you next week with more guests. Up next, the community calendar. Beginning next Tuesday the 15th and continuing through the 30th, Beyond Walls presents their 6th year of producing large-scale murals around the city. Up to 5 murals will be completed in the 2-week period, showing the diverse populations and history at Lynn. At the time of this press release, 2 locations for murals had been released, 87 Oxford Street and 23 Farrar Street. Next Wednesday the 16th, Wayne Alarm Systems is hosting a blood drive at 424 Essex Street in the conference room from 1 to 6 p.m. All those who register will be entered into a raffle with specific emphasis placed on those who can donate type B, negative, O negative, or platelets. All are encouraged to donate, as the Red Cross, as they have 50,000 less donations than normal during the summer month, so blood is being used faster than it can be collected. The Walnut Street Cafe is hosting an Express Yourself Safe Space open mic on Thursday, August 17th at 6:45, with doors opening at 5:45 p.m. A range of artists will be showcased, giving those who wish to perform a space to do so. Each event also highlights a female comedian and musician headliner to draw attention to the women making an impact in the arts community. That brings us to the end of the news for this week. To learn more about these events and keep up to date on what is happening, visit lyntv.org. Also follow us on social media at Lynn Community Television for press releases and staff and member content. And go to Lynn Community Television on YouTube for videos, interviews, and more, all for free. I'm Danny Vittori, this is LCTV News, and we will see you next week.